Hi, this is part B of me telling you about my parasites and how I found out about this way to treat the rash and bring them to the surface. This is part B, so if you want to understand where I got them and how and why, what's going on, listen to part A. Anyway, I prayed about what to do because the antiparasite things I tried hadn't worked. So I felt one night I was in so much discomfort that I prayed about it, and the answer I got was to spray hydrogen peroxide on it. So I put it in a little spray bottle, and I sprayed it on my rash, and this is what the rash looks like. I put powder on it, but it's just dry, flaky, whatever. Oh, but you're missing this cool thing. Okay, so when I sprayed the hydrogen peroxide on the rash, it only bubbles up where there's something toxic. The rest of your skin, it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't feel like anything. But wherever there's any bacteria, it will bubble up and turn white. So you can see at first, and I'll show you on the other hand, I would just spray it on, and it would just sting, and it would feel like there's things moving or whatever. But it would, so I sprayed it probably every 10 minutes for an hour and a half or so. And then I took this white powder, and this is just over-the-counter 3% hydrogen peroxide. You can get it any grocery store or department store, drugstore, sorry. And I just put it in a little spray bottle. And then this bottle is just Diatomaceous Earth. Now, you can get Diatomaceous Earth online, or you can get it at a place that does any kind of pesticides for trees, fruits, vegetables. And you spray this on your vegetables, but it's also a source of calcium. What it is it's ground up seashells, and it's like cuts open. It's very sharp to them, but it feels like talcum powder to us. What it does is when bugs crawl across it, they get cut open. And so that's what I put on my rashes, and it takes care of them a little bit, but it never quite gets rid of them. So I put Diatomaceous Earth on after I sprayed. Now let me just kind of set this here for a second and spray this on the other rash so you can see what happens. Okay, so there's white right now, right? And you can see it's really flaky and dry, and you can hear it's like sandpapery. So if I spray this on there, okay, it's empty, but if I spray it on there, it'll turn white where the rash is the worst, and it will start to bubble. But I've been doing this all day on this hand, but I started on the other hand yesterday. So this hand doesn't have any little parasites showing up yet. It's just killing the rash on the top. This hand, as you can see, at first you couldn't see the parasites very clearly. But as I have been spraying this hand, I have to tell you, I'm feeling better on the rest of my body as well. So I sprayed it about every 10 minutes for about an hour and a half. Then I put Diatomaceous Earth on it, and I left that on there for about 6 hours. And then I started spraying this again, and all of a sudden these white little sore thingies appeared. And if you look, more and more and more are coming to the surface. It's kind of disgusting. I almost wish I could bathe in the hydrogen peroxide and just get them all out of my body at once. But now I don't know if I'd recommend this either, but I did huff some of the hydrogen peroxide when it's aerated, and I read about that online. So if you put that on, I got that from another website where a guy was getting rid of some other illnesses that he had, and so I did that probably about 12 times today throughout the day, just a couple of sprays. I just spray it in my mouth and go like that when it's aerated, in the aerated form. But don't do that, because I'm not recommending that you do that, but I just have to be honest that I did do that as well, because that's what I was doing when it was so waking me up at night, because I could feel them crawling around in my lungs. So I thought if I could get some of this peroxide in there, perhaps it would kill some of them off in my lungs and I could breathe. But as I do this, more and more and more of these white parasite things are coming to the surface. Then what I did is I took a pen. I hope that the camera can get this okay, but and you can see they're squiggly too, and they're all. It's not like it's the creases of my hand. These are like especially this one, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it goes like this. It's like squiggly like a snake. There's nothing, and can you see it? Okay, now the thing that kind of freaked me out at first when these first started showing up was they're bumps. They're not flat. And once I pop it and I dig one of them out, it, I don't know if I can do it with you seeing it, but once I dig one of them out, it leaves a hole like a splinter. If you have a splinter and it's in there for a couple of days, and then you go to pick it out, it kind of leaves like a tunnel. And I kind of want to show you that if I can do it with the camera there. It's not working very good. I can see on the camera that it's not. Let me try see if I can do it better. Okay, let's try this one here. You can see white just came off. I don't know if you can, well, maybe you can't. See on the tip of the needle? There's white thing, okay? That's what they're all like. If I kind of just get under the skin a little bit, I'm just trying to get one of these so you can see the hole that it leaves. If I get under the skin just a little bit, it leaves like a trail of a hole. I don't know if you can see that very well there, but I should probably try and do a bigger one. But a white comes out, like the little parasite, whatever white comes out, and then it's like I took a thorn out or something. There's a trail, a hole. But the weirder thing is, once I get that little white thing out of there, and then I spray some more, I don't know if you can see that, but once I spray some more, then the holes that I kind of dug, I'm just going barely on the surface to get to the bump underneath. So I'm not digging, as you can see I've got it sideways. I'm not digging these out of my skin. I'm just breaking the skin where, see now that white one's gone, and it's on the tip of the, so let's do a bigger one. I can just pop it through the skin, and it does feel like there's something underneath my skin. It's really creepy. But the other thing that the sign of this parasite is, I've looked online for years because I had this weird symptom and I couldn't find it anywhere. But I don't know if you can see, but I kind of just picked it all up and moved it, and so where that there's little pieces of white that pop out, and when you let them out, they just kind of, the white part just kind of pops out, and then there's just like a trail. There's a little trail right there where that one came out, and there's no more white there. But and then if you want more to show up, all I have to do is spray hydrogen peroxide on it and more show up. So somehow they're killing them out of my body and they're bringing them to the surface. And yeah, I need to pour more peroxide in there. But so you can see where I dug out, it's not like it's bleeding. It's not like there's any sore afterwards. It's not like it scabs over or anything, but they just keep coming to the surface, and it really hurts when they come to the surface. I can feel them coming through. It kind of feels like your hair is standing on end, and actually the hairs do stand on end. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but they do stand on end, and more just will keep showing up as I spray more. So this has been an interesting experiment. I have not read anything about this online. It was an answer to prayer. Maybe it can help other people, but it's really, I'm hoping can figure out how to cure this horrible, I'm pretty sure it's threadworm. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to show you and tell you. The other symptom that I have is little black, the other one just barely grew out. They're little dots, and they start at anywhere on the nail. I have one that's just started right on my thumb, and I don't think you can see it, but I did take a picture of it, and I will post it on my blog, thesecretisgratitude.com. Anyway, you can kind of see a black dot right there. It's about right there on my thumb. And they start to grow out. So they start as a dot, and then they get longer and longer and longer, and pretty soon I have like a line going through the center of my nail, a black line, and they always go, vertically on the nail. And I've seen them on, my niece has some, and she went to Peru with us, and my daughter that went to Peru, I just noticed last week on her, she is getting them now too. And so that's the thing, is these parasites, see how little they are now? They start to come out up under the skin, and you can't feel when one just pops out under the skin. They're so thread-like and little that you can't see them, and see, they're all coming out and stuck, but when they're alive, they can actually bore in and bore out. So they bore out of the skin, and they get stuck under the nail, and then you can see them, and as they grow out, it grows out. They actually will, you can feel them, kind of scrape them out underneath. I had one on this nail, just right at the very tip. I don't think you can see it, but it just grew out, and it takes months for them to grow out. Anyway, you can see more have showed up. The more I spray, the more that show up, and I'll just continue taking them out. I'm guessing a scrub brush should probably just take the top off and let the thing out, but I don't really want to be raw there. But if it gets rid of the parasites, I will be very grateful for that. Anyway, it might be a way that you can diagnose yourself with these if you have these symptoms. And I'll put them all on my blog, and I'll put them all on the YouTube post, so hopefully people can find it. But basically, they're called threadworms, and they're a part of the roundworm family, and they are hard to diagnose in the stool, and treatment's not very effective. They say that once you have it for life, but now that I figured out hydrogen peroxide will work, hopefully I can figure out some kind of a treatment. I was taking iodine before, and I'm thinking that's what probably kept them down. But since I stopped taking the iodine, I've gained a ton of weight, and I'm extremely heavy for my normal. I've been able to stay thin my whole life, and until the last 7-8 years, and all of a sudden. So what happens is these parasites, I think, are eating the things that I need, and so my body feels like it's in starvation. If I exercise and diet, I actually gain weight, which is horrible, but that's just where I'm at. So I think you can see these clearly. They're not going with the hand. They're not. There's definitely squiggles and parasite-y looking things underneath there, and I could feel them before, but now I can actually see them. So I have to see what the doctor thinks about that. Anyway, I hope this helps somebody, and I will continue to post what works and how I've dealt with everything. But the best thing for the bum rash is I wipe myself really well, and then I powder myself with this, and every time I go to the bathroom, and it has taken care of the rashes, but they seem to come out, they hatch every 15 to 28 days, and for me it seems to be about 22 days they seem to hatch, and then I get a rash every 22 days or so down there. But since I've been doing the Diatomaceous Earth down there, now they've been coming out. Like I said, my hands have gotten bad over the last few months, and I think that's because I was using the Diatomaceous Earth, keeping them down there. But the Diatomaceous Earth doesn't work on the hands very well because I wash my hands a million times a day, and it comes off. But now I know the hydrogen peroxide will work, so I think I'll just use that, because obviously the powder's not killing them, it's just keeping them from laying eggs on the surface. So I hope this helps somebody. It's kind of an embarrassing thing to talk about, but hopefully I can figure it out and be healthy again.